Greetings comic lovers and welcome back to Casually Comics, the channel where we chat all things comics, from reviews of comics new and old to history to anecdotes, really wherever our whims take us. Future State Wonder Woman. Is Yara Flor still the breakout character of Future State? That truck that's backing up next to my window certainly thinks so. Will she rise above Future State or burn out? That remains to be seen. But has she charmed her way into a place in your heart after Wonder Woman Future State 2? Future State Wonder Woman 2? Issue 2? Let's find out. But before we get started, I'm Sasha, and if you're enjoying this content, you know what to do. Hit that like button and that subscribe button. Join us in this comic book journey. Yara Flor's Wonder Woman Future State outing is playing in the realms of the mythological, blending and playing with multiple sources: Grecian, Tupi-Gurani, Brazilian folklore, and more. At times creating fusions and very much playing in that space. Some found it enjoyable and were sucked in. Others found that things were being inaccurately represented. I also saw some who felt that Yara was too American, while others loved her. There were a lot of thoughts and feelings, so get ready to have some more. We already tackled part 1, so if you missed it, card and link, but of course here's some cliff notes. Yara battled a Hydra to get a Fang to barter entrance into the underworld to save a fellow warrior, a sister. However, she is happened upon by Kaipora, whom she is able to persuade, let's use the word persuade, into taking her to the nether realm. This realm manifested as an airport for her, until she got to Karen to cross whatever Styx, only to realize she needed money. Her theft of coins from one of the souls waiting in line led to a confrontation with Cerberus. And let's do it. Our cover promises us more of that blend of mythologies. We have a lot going on here, and Yara enjoying all of it, as this is one of her traits. She likes being Wonder Woman. We've got Hades, we've got Jerry the Pegasus, we've got Cerberus, Charon, her Kaipora companion that some felt was more akin to a Kuripura, and skulls, giant skulls. This cover looks like a party and a half. This one is selling the tone, whereas the first was selling Yara. Gaze upon her thighs, gaze upon her costume, bask in her. And people did. We jump right back into Yara having to deal with Cerberus, and by her face you can see she's having the time of her life. But because of this, she's missing the boat. Our narrator's slightly tongue-in-cheek commentary continues, this time detailing the story of humans being gifted fire, and what that meant for them. Thus becoming more self-sufficient, the evening hours could be spent around the warmth of communal fires. Inevitably, the humans began to talk to one another, and eventually this led to the all-too-human art of storytelling. As this story is laid out, Yara is lassoing Charon's hand to toss to Cerberus, part fetch, part bone for the Hellhound to enjoy. The narration boxes overlay her deeds by explaining that humans tired of mundane tales and quickly turn to telling of the feats of heroes. With Cerberus chasing that bone, Yara can get on the boat. Good thing Charon is so understanding. It must be far more excitement than they usually see down there. Eternity is a long time. Mundanity. Her companion says she can't come, but offers her some advice. You're gonna have to get past your anger and urge to fight, but as long as you stop, stay still and keep a clear focus, you might have a chance. Open your heart. Remember what you're here for. See her memory clearly in your mind. That's the only way to her. Ooh, the Elysian fields look lovely. I'm looking at the fields. What are you looking at? However, of course, she isn't meant to be there, so she's singled out and is sent tumbling down to the more fearsome depths of Hades. She finds herself at the feet of a rather fearsome yet comfortable looking Minos. We continue on with our mythological references, so if you are aware of or are familiar with some base Greek mythology, you'll get more out of this imagery and characters in play. If you have a bit more depth of knowledge, you'll get even more out of it, as you'll be able to identify what is being taken and what is being tweaked for narrative or entertainment purposes, as fictional adaptations of mythological adventures inevitably are. We talked more about that in our Superman/Wonder Woman Future State review, part 1. If you missed that, card and link. Minos starts off as a king, ultimately ending up as a judge for Hades, along with Ichthus and Rhadamanthus, each of them judging souls from different regions of the earth, and then Minos was the deciding vote. They view her presence there as a living being as sacrilege. I love the contrast of her and her colors and him with his robe against the darkness of the underworld. It's very striking. Yara proves that she's been watching Teen Titans Go by trying to entertain them with magic. Ooh, look, she removed some fingers. How did she do it? Ta-da! I feel like you weren't paying attention. You know what? I'll do it again. However, all of this draws the attention of Hades himself, and I love the design for him. Made of shadows and huge, with his crown hovering around his head. It's very menacing but also exciting. It's an adventurous design. Its dialogue, however.
If you wish to avoid an eternal punishment more excruciating than in Sisyphus, you'd better explain yourself.
Why yes, once more the King of Corinth graces these reviews. Last time was Batman Black and White in that poem that was simply titled Sisyphus, though it was ultimately Zeus who gave Corinth his punishment of forever pushing a boulder up a hill, only for it to roll back and for him to have to restart, not Hades. He did cheat death, but Zeus is petty like that. But this story wants you to acknowledge that some mythological research was done. It was had. And to that I say, noted. I'm less sure about the use of Portuguese.
We do no favors for Escasita here.
So the thing with learning languages is that there's a difference between how they're taught and how they're spoken. The colloquialisms, the idioms, the phrases, the day-to-day parlance. Also, some phrases simply don't translate. Or perhaps they have pre-existing equivalents in the language. But because the non-native speaker may not be familiar with them, they may miss the reference. And instead try and force an existing English phrase into that mold. In Superman/Wonder Woman, the attempt at slang was met with laughter and mockery, as well as grammatical correction. So I'm asking my Portuguese speakers and Brazilian fans, is this phrasing used to mean space cadet, or does it just mean forgetful? Is this a good use for it? I genuinely do not know. Enlighten me. Or is this a case of, look, we threw in a word from the native language? Let me know. I want to know. I need to know. Yara angers Hades by saying she must get her fellow soldier, Potira, but he is soothed by the arrival of his wife Persephone, who also has a design I adore. Look at her flower train. So he agrees to give Yara a chance to rescue her lost soul. Hercules style, only also with an hourglass, so she has until the time runs out. But if she fails, her soul is his. Joke's on him. If she's following her mythological origin in any way, she's immortal. She accepts the terms and climbs down to the clamoring souls below. And so the advice from her companion comes in handy as she realizes she needs to stop fighting against the souls, relax, and remember Potira so she can find her. Ignore the orgy vibes from the panels, or well, try to. Once it's seen, it cannot be unseen. So she recalls the battle of Themyscira where her fellow soldier and sister fell. And we see that as she dangled from a cliff, Yara was trying to pull her up when an enemy appeared behind her and was about to strike her. So Potira sacrificed herself to save her. No! With those feelings intact, she's able to find Potira. Yara, you found me. Hades, of course, is not pleased. People are not actually supposed to succeed at these deals. They're supposed to be traps. It's rigged. The house always wins. Run. So they try to flee the spider-like creatures he sends after them. But of course, if you've read a couple of Greek myths, you know Potira isn't going anywhere. She's dead. And she gets trapped under the collapsing entrance. And as Yara struggles to save her, she says that she must go on. She must let her go. This time permanently. Yara says she'll have her out in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail before she gives up though. Which, I mean, I thought I was the only one who said that. Vindication. Potira thanks Yara for giving her life meaning, for giving her a noble death, but tells her that she must go on, for her ending is not yet written. Much like a pearl forming in an oyster, all hero legends grow out of a grain of truth, that each of us will inevitably reveal feet of clay. They are not heroes because they are perfect. They are heroes because they must overcome their imperfections. Woo! Emotional support Pegasus Jerry to the rescue! And so we reveal that our Kaipora was narrating for us, and the end card promises us that there is more to come, because Yara is getting more tales. We're not done with her, and I for one am glad. This story is pretty straightforward and living in its mythological influences, bathing in them, basking in them, or wallowing in them if you're not necessarily enjoying them. However, mainly the story is meant to be a showcase of Yara. It's meant to give you a sense of her as a hero, both her flaws and her strengths. Eager, kind, impulsive, not thinking of the consequences to others always, loyal, passionate. Yara comes across as a character, which is very important. You get a sense of how she could and would react to certain situations, the lengths she'll go to for her friends and comrades, the ways that she gets herself into trouble, and the type of shenanigans that arise from that. Yes, you already know the outcome if you're familiar with myths like that of Orpheus, but that feels more like it's meant to showcase how mythology will be woven into Yara's makeup. And I am curious as to how her own mythologies, or the character whom she is named for, will come into play. She can't just be called Yara or Lara by accident. Is she a water nymph? The daughter of a river god? A siren? I need to know, tell me. Her and Andy going on adventures through the confluence? Yes, please. Don't mind if I do. Jax can come too, I guess. If canon won't do it for me, then hopefully fanfic will. Or I'll write it if I have time, which I probably won't. So there's a connection with this character to both sources of Amazon terminology, the original Greek and Tupi-Gurani. That's the extreme cliff notes. As always, if anything sounded interesting that I said in the story anywhere, check it out. Go deeper. It's fun, I swear. Learning! This was a fun outing with cool imagery, and hopefully is reflective of what we can expect from Yara in the future, but with even more expansion on her character and universe. A quick one and done, but one I for one will revisit. However, I can see others finding it derivative, or not deferent enough, or taking enough strides into Tupi-Gurani mythology or Brazilian folklore. Also, if one does not come to enjoy Yara's personality or traits, this will not be a gratifying or encouraging read that makes one want to see more of her. Mileage varies, and I want to hear where this landed for you. Did you enjoy it? Here for Yara, yay or nay? Want to see her more expanded? Feel they're missing the mark? Need a Hades and Persephone poster in that style? Dem thighs though. Leave all your thoughts down below. And while you're down there, please do all the YouTube things. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell notification so that you never miss a vid. Thanks so much for taking some time out of your day to spend it discussing comics with me. I always appreciate it, and I will see you again soon. Bye bye!